Hey, welcome back to Jazz Piano Hands. Hope you're well. Hope you've been enjoying some of the other videos I've been putting up. The Kenny Kirkland one was a lot of fun to make, and his stuff is just a real inspiration to play through. So if you're looking at any Kenny Kirkland stuff yourself, then you could go on over to that and have a look at that. This is the third video in the Autumn Leaves mini-series. We're going to be dealing with starting off improvising at the piano. So if you are just getting started with that, this might just help you. I'm basing it on kind of chord tone theory, if you like, by which we mean notes of the chord. These are notes of the chords, and chord tone theory deals with landing on strong harmony notes like these in your solos, and adding extra elements which we'll talk about. So that's the nuts and bolts of it. When we talk about landing on the harmony notes, we are adding extra notes as we improvise, and they're not all going to be harmony notes, but the important thing is that they arrive back, or I don't know if important's the right word, but a really helpful thing, because it really helps us. It helps to guide us through the changes, and it makes us feel that we're hearing the solos working with the changes. So it's really helpful, and actually we call these notes also guide tones for this very reason. So we start with the concept of approach notes, or approach tones. I'm going to call it notes because I'm English. We can approach a harmony note from below, so we can do from B to C, D to E, E being the third, F to G, G being the fifth, and back to B and C, which again is the tonic. So we call this a lower approach note, and that was a diatonic set of approach notes. So literally when we say diatonic, we mean belonging to the major scale, or minor scale actually, but also known as the Ionian scale if you're into your modes. So we've used the notes from that. Yeah, so we can also use chromatic approach notes. So yeah, and this is quite a lot of fun when we start getting into more advanced stuff. Using these chromatic notes is something we do a lot of. So then that's the lower approach notes covered. Now we've got upper approach notes. So for C we're going to use D, for E we're going to use F, for G we're going to use A, and then D to C again. That's the diatonic one. Chromatically it would do this: D flat to C. The F to E doesn't change because that is already just a semitone. A flat to G, D flat to C. Which is also a nice little scale in itself. We're actually talking about the double harmonic scale in one of my 251 videos. So yeah, it's one of my favourite scales. And so that's that concept, the idea of approach notes, either lower or upper approach notes. When we put two of them together around a harmony note, we call this an enclosure. This is a very simple enclosure. So lower approach, upper approach, destination note or guide tone. So or you can do the other way around as well. It's still an enclosure. So what I've done with Autumn Leaves, and I'll backtrack a bit, those of you who saw my introduction have probably gone ahead and learned the tune that I set, Autumn Leaves. There's a lead sheet on that video as well, so if you haven't, it's going to be indispensable if you don't know the tune to actually just learn it first, because what I'm talking about is that tune. Here it is. And we go back round. Those of you who haven't seen the chord extensions, alterations and substitutions video, I'm using the chords from that, so you might just want to go over there and just get an idea of what I'm doing if you're not completely comfortable with it. There's also a worksheet for that, so you can get that. And for those of you who haven't been there yet, I'm going to use the more traditional chords. Etc. So it won't be too much to take in if you haven't been over to that yet, if you haven't taken those chords in. So what we do now is we're going to distill the melody. So I've distilled the melody of Autumn Leaves right back to one note for 2 bars. So I've literally taken the E flat, which is the last note of each phrase, the D of there, C, B flat, and this is basically the distillation of the melody. Yeah. So this is our starting point, and what we're doing is we're going to use these as guide tones. Now these are strong harmony notes because the E flat is a minor third on C minor, it's a dominant 7th on F7, then we go to B flat major 7, D is the 3rd, it's the major 7th of E flat major 7, etc, etc. So you can see what's happening. So then we're going to start to add this idea of approach notes and enclosures. So we're actually going to start with an enclosure here, which you'll see on the sheet. By the way, the sheet is down below. You can download that from the link, so so you can get more of an idea of what I'm doing, but it's up next to me just here, so you can have a look at that as well. So we're starting with this enclosure. So this is what we call a playthrough enclosure, because we're starting with the guide tone, the E flat, then we're going to the lower neighbour note, upper neighbour note, and back. So this is the next bit on the sheet. Etc. You get the idea. So then the next thing is, what are we going to do over the next note? Well, as one of the composition techniques, we use reversal. So I can't remember who said that improvisation is basically composing in real time. That's very true. So we use a lot of compositional techniques. One of the core ones is reversal. So if we do down and up, then we can reply with an up and down. If you get the idea. So so we can do this. Original idea. Reversal. Original idea. Reversal. Reversal. And then if we're going to use the turnaround chord of G7, then we're going to use a B natural because that belongs to G7. And then we can go back up to the C. So the next thing we can do is start to add some chromatic notes, because these make it a bit more fun. Sometimes the diatonic ones just sound a bit straight, and we can just make it a bit more gnarly with the chromatics. It's there's no theory to it really. You can do pretty much what you like, but so here's our, that's normal. Now I've added the C sharp. I've naturalized it again. B natural, back to B flat, and then B natural again. Yeah, so that's the A section. In the same way that I distilled down the melody in the A section, for the B section we're going to do this. So here, yeah. So using the same method of enclosures, we can just play that through. Yeah? Is that making sense? I hope so. So, and then finally we have the last section, which is kind of more or less the same as the A section, but we do have this little at the end. So it just kind of ups the ante with the chords. It lets us know that something's happening, and it's leading us towards the finish of the tune. So actually pretty much everything we did in the original A section we can do here. I'm not sure there's anything I've changed. Etc. So you get the idea. All these enclosures are just fitting around the harmony notes. I hope this is of some help to you. This should get you going, and just practice around the ideas. Try adding new ideas. So for instance, you know, on our on the single approach notes on either side, we can start to add two chromatics. So for the E flat we might stick a D flat, D, F, E natural. So there's already a more complex enclosure for you. So you can start, etc., and keep looking at those. Those are definitely covered in my 251 videos, so you'll come across one or two of those, and plenty more besides. So thanks for watching. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up down there. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so. It's very encouraging when people subscribe, and it keeps me going, thinking up ideas for new videos, etc. So yeah, that would be good. Anyway, I'll be seeing you very shortly. I think we have a new transcription coming up, so look forward to seeing you on that. Stay warm, because things are getting cold now, and see you next time. Alrighty, take care.